We'll continue to acknowledge the invited guests as we get their names. Thank you. And of course, I haven't told the graduating participants, bonjour, félicitations.
While we are waiting for the event to commence, can we please request the police band to give us some music? Thank you.
Okay, before the police band comes up, let me quickly acknowledge again Mr. Albert Ogbole, FSI, Director DSS Plateau State, representing the Director General DSS. Is that okay, sir? Are you happy? Okay, thank you very much, sir. You said? You said? It is him. That's not him. That's what you gave me. Okay. Thank you, police band. Graduating participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we please take our seats? Could we please take our seats? I would like to acknowledge the presence of the former Inspector General of Police and President of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, in the person of IGP MD Abubakar, retired, CFR, NPM, MNI. Please give him a round of applause. You are welcome, sir. Also in the house this morning is the Secretary General of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, Abubakar Ismaila Isa, MNI, FCNA. You are welcome, sir. Please give him a round of applause. I also see in the house a powerful delegation from Annie. Could you all rise, since I haven't gotten their names? All the delegation of Annie, please rise so that we can clap. We'll give you a round of applause first before we get your names. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome, ma. We also have in the house this morning His Excellency the Deputy Governor of Kebbi State, Colonel Samaila Yombe Dabai, retired, MNI, PhD, and his amiable wife. Could you please give them a round of applause? You are welcome, sir. Police band, please. Thank you, police band. I would like to acknowledge the presence of a powerful delegation from Zamfara State Government, headed by Mohammed Bello Karakai, MNI, OON. Please give them a round of applause. You are welcome, sir. Also in the house this morning is Ambassador A.O. Ibe, FSI, representing the Director General, NIA. You are welcome, sir. Please give him a round of applause. Participants, celebrate those that have come to rejoice with you. Give him another round of applause. Thank you.
We also like to recognize the presence in the house this morning of members of the Board of Governors of the National Institute. We have in the house this morning Honorable Abdullahi Matori. Can you please put your hands together? Honorable Abdullahi Matori, member of the Board of Governors of the National Institute. Thank you very much. We also have in the house, to grace this August occasion, another member of the Board of Governors of the National Institute, Honorable Temi Harriman. Thank you very much. You are welcome. We have members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute also here present this morning. Permit me to recognize Mohammed representative. He's already here. He's already here. John Amadi. My head not reader's hand. Thank you. Okay. Deputy Controller General. Thank you. Representing the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, we have Dr. Zachary Lawal, MNI. Can you please put your hands together for him? Dr. Zachary Lawal, MNI. Also here this morning as a representative of the Chief of Naval Staff, we have Rear Admiral S.S. Garba, Chief of Policy and Plans, representing the Chief of Naval Staff. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much. Representing the Controller General Corrections, we have Deputy Controller General of Corrections, Sly Nwakuche MNI. Please put your hands together for him. We have a very powerful delegation from the Alumni Association of the National Institute. We have Dr. Garba Usman Tetengi, Sec 24. He was a former Vice President of ANI. Please put your hands together to recognize his presence. We have Ambassador Obi Okafor MNI, National Vice President of the Alumni Association of the National Institute. Ambassador Obi Okafor MNI, please put your hands together to recognize his presence in the house this morning. Mr. Bello Simpa Abdulmumuni MNI is also here. Can you please put your hands together? Mr. Bello Simpa Abdulmumuni MNI. Dr. Mrs. Favor Ugwanyi MNI is here, Executive Chairman of PPSMB, Enugu State Government. Please put your hands together. She's also here this morning. Thank you very much. You are welcome. We have Mr. Mohammed Nasir Ladan MNI, Director Administration of ANI at the ANI National Secretariat. You are welcome, sir. Thank you very much for coming. And then we have Chief Mrs. Love Ezema MNI, National Social Welfare Secretary of ANI. She's also here in the house. We appreciate your coming. Thank you very much.
Distinguished participants, it is time to recognize the presence of those that have worked with you in this intellectual incubator for the past 10 months. And I'm talking about the directing staff. Starting with Study Group 1, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. I.D. Choji, MNI. Please give him a round of applause. Also in our midst is Air Vice Marshal A.A. Kasimu, PhD, Study Group 1. Please give him a round of applause. For Study Group 2, we have Brigadier General S.O. Oloyede, MNI. Please give him a round of applause. Also in our midst is Professor Mojubaola Okome. I'm sorry, please let me take it again. Please, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Mojubaolu O. Okome. Please give her a round of applause. You are welcome, ma. And for Study Group 3, we have Air Vice Marshal U.C. Nwagu, MNI. Applaudissez! Also for study group 3 is Professor Abolade Adeniji. Applaudissez-le. For study group 4, we have Professor Tunji Olaokpa. Please give him a round of applause. The Baba himself. And also, for study group 4 is AIG DD Galadanchi, MNI. Directing staff for study group 5 are Professor S. Ochoche, FWC, and Rear Admiral A.A. Adeshokpe, MNI. Applaudissez-le. For study group 6, we have Major General E.B. Kabuk, retired, FDC PSC Daga, and Professor K.B. Taina Aikal. Please give him a round of applause. And for the last study group, but not the least, is Brigadier General W.D. Nasiru, MNI. Wow. And Navy Commodore C.N. Anyaku, MNI. Thank you very much. Study group 8, all the graduating participants. All those that know where they meet for study group 8. You know yourselves. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Applaudissez-le. And for senior fellows, in no particular order, we have in the house Dr. Theophilus Shesihi. I hope I'm calling it well. Shesihi, that's what I have here. Dr. Theophilus Shesihi, please give him a round of applause. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Professor Leonard Kosim Fua MNI. Please give him a round of applause. I need you to acknowledge him very well. Where is he? Please acknowledge him. Professor Fua, you are most welcome, sir. Also in the house is Dr. Oluseyi Oshifowokan. Please give her a round of applause. Okay. And Mr. Nimfel Chirman. Please give him a round of applause. We also acknowledge all fellows here present. Please give them a round of applause. Police band, please.
Thank you very much, the police band. We have in the house this morning, as a representative of the Inspector General of Police, we have DIG John Amadi MNI. Can you please put your hands together for him? We also have here this morning Hajia Sekinatu Sambo. She is the wife of the Honorable Minister of Transportation. Please put your hands together for her. In the house this morning with us at this important occasion is the presidential candidate of the Action Alliance in the person of Hamza Mustafa. Please put your hands together for him. There is a representative of the ICANN president in the house, Mr. Adamu Yusuf. Please make him welcome with a round of applause. Mr. Adamu Yusuf. Thank you. You are welcome. Shall we rise up on our feet? As soon as the guests of honor are seated, we'll take the national anthem immediately. Shall we take the national anthem? The national anthem, please. Thank you very much. Can we please pay attention? Let's please stop the distribution of the program for now. Your Excellency, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, ably represented by the Minister of Transportation, Engineer Muazu Sambo, Your Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Barrister Simon Bako Lalong, represented at this event by the Deputy Governor of Plateau State, Professor Sonny Tioden, Your Excellencies, other state governors here present, former state governors here present, distinguished senators here present, former senators here present, honorable members of the House of Representatives, honorable members of the Federal and State Executive Council, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners here present, honorable members of the Plateau State Executive Council here present, the chairman, the president of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, and other members of the Alumni Association of the National Institute here present, members of the Board of Governors, Honorable Abdullahi Matori here present, Honorable Temi Harriman, also a member of the Board of Governors, the Minister of Defense, who is also here with us, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Ado, His Royal Majesty Alhaji Ado Bayero, Aminu Ado Bayero, thank you very much, sir. Chief Executives of paramilitary services here present, Service Chiefs and the Inspector General of Police and their representatives, Directors General and other and Chief Executives of other sister parastatals here present, our Royal Fathers, the General Officer commanding 3rd Armored Division of the Nigerian Army, spiritual and religious leaders, the President and national officers of the Alumni Association already recognized, principal officers and management staff of the National Institute, members of the directing staff, fellows and senior staff of the National Institute, graduating participants of Senior Executive Course 44 of the National Institute, respected invited guests, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to this very important occasion, which is the graduation ceremony of the Senior Executive Course 44 2022 of the National Institute. We will proceed in this ceremony by inviting the Director General of the National Institute, Professor Ayo Omotayo, Professor of Environmental Sustainability, to give us his welcome address. Can you please put your hands together for him? Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, ably represented by the Honorable Minister for Transportation, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Barrister Simon Bako Lalong, ably represented by the Deputy Governor of the state, Your Excellencies, other state governors here present. I want to cut the protocols list short, but before I proceed, I want to specially thank recognize the presence of the His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano. Royal Father, I thank you so much for finding time again this morning to honor us with your presence. I recognize other Royal Fathers that are here. I recognize especially all the other former governors that are here represented. I recognize our Lord Spiritual and Temporal, and I also recognize members of the Fourth Estate of the Realm, that is the Nigerian press. It is heartwarming to welcome you all to the graduation ceremony of the participants of Senior Executive Course SEC 44 2022 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, KURU. I am particularly elated by this event because it marks the successful accomplishment of a core national assignment and the first under my watch. However, on a very sad note, out of the number of participants that were admitted into the program, one withdrew on grounds of ill health, and unfortunately, we lost her a couple of weeks ago. May her soul rest in peace. The distinguished participants and management of the Institute were well represented at her funeral just about 3 weeks ago. And we thank God that God has kept our family intact since we lost her. Some other of the participants lost parents and some lost relatives. We say may their souls rest in peace. Please, may we all rise and observe a moment of silence for the departed souls. May the soul of the departed ones rest in peace. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, sir, as Nigeria's foremost apex policy think tank, the National Institute was established to serve a high-level center for reflection, research, and dialogue. To realize this mandate, the National Institute conducts public policy research and trainings geared towards the establishment of a better Nigerian society. The flagship training program of the National Institute is the Senior Executive Course. Participants of the course are drawn from the federal and state civil service, the labor, professional bodies, women's societies, the private sector, and others are from the armed forces, the police, the paramilitary, and other security agencies. The general objective of this Senior Executive Course is to achieve the mandate of the Institute by providing a unique opportunity for participants to get together for purposeful reflection, research, and dialogue amongst academics, policy initiators, and other citizens with practical experience in important societal issues as they relate to Nigeria. The specific objectives include to improve the overall performance of participants in their different professions, to prepare participants to appreciate the short and long-term national planning processes, together with the importance of policy implementation and problems associated with this. Also, it is to stimulate intellectual curiosity that will lead to in-depth research into social, economic, political, military, scientific, defense, cultural, and other problems facing the country through the lens of the theme for the year. Every year, Mr. President approves a particular theme on an issue of national importance for course participants to research into and profile recommendations and implementation strategies based on their findings. The theme for SEC 44 is strengthening local governance in Nigeria challenges, options, and opportunities. 2 days ago at the Villa, SEC 44 participants proudly presented their findings of 10 months to Mr. President, and I believe that report was well received. I think we need to clap for the participants. Everyone at the event alluded to the fact that SEC 44 did a very thorough job and did not leave any stone unturned in researching into that particular theme. I thank members of SEC 44 again for their hard work and their dedication and their patriotism in investigating that theme. A round of applause again for the participants. Your Excellency, sir, the Senior Executive Course Program curriculum is structured into 8 modules, namely understanding the Nigerian state, research methodology, leadership, policy and strategy, science, technology and innovation, economics and management studies, international relations, defense and security studies, and of course, peace and conflict studies. Your Excellency, it will be observed that this curriculum is broad, encompassing and rich, and has delivered knowledge and skills to participants who will go back to serve our great country. Most importantly, the resource persons and course facilitators are drawn all the time from among the best Nigerian academics, the civil service, the military and paramilitary establishments, and other security institutions. Also from civil society organizations, international government and non-governmental organizations, among others, are those who provide resource persons to the participants. To complement the lectures, there is also a field component of the course. This allows the participants to engage in various study tours. They include visits to key and strategic ministries, departments and agencies of government in the country for strategic tour, some states for the local study tour. We also visit other African countries in order to be able to accomplish peer review. And we also engage in international, intercontinental study tours to see how other parts of the world are carrying out such responsibilities that we also have to investigate. The participants for Senior Executive Course 44 2022 visited 14 states in the country. These include Gombe, Kwara, Bauchi, Delta, Katsina, Oyo, and Kano states. Others are Akwa Ibom, Kaduna, Plateau, Nasarawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Borno, and Ogun states. I want to use this opportunity to thank the governors of all those 14 states for receiving us well when we visited in the course of our study tour. For our visits to the African countries, we visited Tanzania, Ethiopia, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Cape Verde, and Cameroon. And outside Africa, we visited Poland, India, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates, Singapore, and Turkey. I know their representatives may not be here, but we want to thank all the presidents of all of the countries we visited outside of Nigeria for receiving us so very well. A few of the countries we had planned to visit in Europe canceled at the last minute because of the war in Europe, and we had to look for some other countries at short notice, and that is why I'm bringing our attention to the fact that they took us in at short notice, and we need to recognize that. The essence of these studies or study tours is to enable participants interact with critical stakeholders relevant to the study area with a view to generating data and learning from good practices in those countries. The Senior Executive Course is designed to ensure active participation in group work and full engagement in individual work through course assignments, such as challenging career experience, individual essays, group reports, and individual research projects. Inculcation of strategic skills in course participants to respond to emergencies and crisis situations is also part of the curriculum course. And we always dedicate a week to what we call the crisis games, where we simulate a crisis situation and we see how these future leaders will respond. It is always a very, very interesting time at the Institute during those periods. Next year, we will publicize our crisis games for those who may wish to see what we do during crisis games. We also, that we are now at the end of the course, I'm pleased to report, Your Excellency, that the participants have been well equipped through rigorous training and intense research to contribute to Nigeria's government strategic plans and actions towards strengthening local governance in Nigeria in their different roles and capacities. I therefore wish to formally congratulate the participants for their doggedness, courage, hard work, and team spirit during the period of the course. We thank their families for their endurance and support to their spouses while the course lasted. Because we know that the course is a very rigorous one, husbands leave wives for 10 months. The participants are only entitled to only 2 exits in 10 months. And they're only allowed to be late for lectures and engagements for not more than 20 minutes in the whole of 10 months. We know that the families were deprived of their time during that period. So I will wish that members of SEC 44 2022, those who knew what they signed up for, you will please rise and thank members of your family for all the sacrifices they made while you are away. You may now sit. Ladies and gentlemen, you will notice that when I gave the instruction that everybody should stand up, they all stood up. In the Institute, one of the things we teach our future leaders is how to obey instructions, because they will be going out into the society to also give instructions. We teach them how to wake up as early as 6 a.m. in the morning and start thinking about Nigeria's problem. And the first thing they need to do is to get themselves physically ready to serve Nigeria. That is why no matter how highly placed you have been, when they come to the Institute, they leave their bigness at the gate of the Institute, and they take on humble personalities as future leaders who are ready to learn and then go back to the society to give. Participants, I know it hasn't been easy. I know we probably at times you felt we were too hard on you, but the belief and the mandate we have is to train leaders who will be servant leaders, who must themselves live the life they want those they lead to follow. And that is why we say wake up at 6, never be late for any engagement. You can't go home to see your family when you are supposed to be patriotic, serving your country. I know some of the people in the audience may be wishing to come to NIPS. We invite you, if you are ready, to leave your big man or your big womaness at the gate. Participants, I thank you very much. But I'm still reading my speech. Like the Annie President said, you have the M, you have the N. We are drawing the I. We don't know if it will be fully drawn. And we don't know whether the I will be dotted at some point. But then I'm watching. I want to be sure you are attentive. We told you up to the last day, we are watching. We are not sure yet. We'll finally decide together with the ANI President when the right time comes. Mr. ANI President, I hope you are watching too. Thank you very much. We will decide jointly, sir. Thank you. Let me use this opportunity to thank the government and good people of Plateau State in general and our host community, the people of Kuru. We want to thank most especially the Gomre of Kuru for the cordial relationship that continues to exist between us and the community. I'm not sure the Gongre is here today. Gongre, can we stand? I know you're a bit afraid. Can you please stand up? Please, a round of applause to the Gongre. Thank you very much, sir. Let me let you know, sir, that management particularly appreciates the goodwill and immense support of the people of Kuru. We appreciate the support that we continue to receive from the Plateau State government, sir. We want to assure you, sir. Can you please stand up, sir, for Let me announce that if the Plateau State government decides to withdraw its support for the Institute, we will simply fold up. So we thank you, sir, for all of the sacrifices you make to the Institute. I also want to appreciate the leadership of the Alumni Association of the National Institute, ANI, for always ensuring that the interest of the National Institute is always protected. Given your enormous support, the National Institute will continue to push for a great Nigeria of our dream. Can I ask the President of ANI to please stand up, and let us please give him a round of applause. The current president is former IGP, that is MD Abubakar for you, live and direct. I also want to report, Your Excellency, that the National Assembly in general, the Senate and House Committees on Intergovernmental Affairs, which oversight the National Institute, have been very supportive to us. We count on this relationship in order to see to the speedy passage of the proposed amendments of the NIPS Act to be brought before the National Assembly very soon. I also want to thank most especially members of the Board of Governors for their incessant support. This year, for all of the meetings we have held, they have always attended in person in spite of the flight difficulties that we have always had. Can members of the Board of Governors that are here please stand up for recognition? Barrister Temi Hariman, we thank you for always attending meetings in spite of the fact that you always have flight difficulties from Warri. And of course, I thank most especially my father, Alhaji Abdullahi Maitori, for always stopping by. Anytime he was coming from Bauchi and traveling to Abuja, he would always stop by to say, DG, what can I also do to help you? Please, a round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, sir, let me place on record the immense support of the Office of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the National Institute. His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, despite his tight schedules, always avails himself on matters and activities that pertain to the National Institute. We are also very grateful to the support we always receive from the President himself. He has always been there for us anytime we had issues to trash out. Honorable Minister, sir, please take back our good wishes to Mr. President. Finally, once again, I welcome you all to the graduation ceremony of Sec 44 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. It is my sincere prayer that God will take you all back to your respective destinations peacefully after this ceremony. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we please appreciate the Director General with another round of applause? Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on the already established protocol and quickly make a few introductions before I move on to the next item on the program. I would like to quickly acknowledge the presence of the former governor of Bauchi State in the person of Amadou Muazu. You are welcome, sir. Also in our midst this morning is the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission in the person of Malam Balarabe Shehu Ilela. Please give him a round of applause. And the last but not the least on my list here is the amiable wife of the Director General of the National Institute, Dr. Adesumbo Omotayo. You are welcome, ma'am. Having been properly welcomed by the Director General, I beg your pardon, it is time to hear from the man appointed to give wise counsel and direction to the board of the National Institute in the person of General Leo Irabo, NAM, PSC, NDC, FCMH, ably represented by Air Vice Marshal Ayo Jolasimi for his address. The representative of the interim chairman board of governors, sir. Please give him a round of applause.
The special guest of honor, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Transport, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor. Sir, please permit me to stand on the already well-established protocol. On behalf of the interim chairman of the governing board of the National Institute, it's a great pleasure for me to welcome the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented by the Minister of Transport, and every distinguished guest to this graduation ceremony. As the interim chairman of the Governing Council, it has indeed been a call to service and a very pleasant one, bearing in mind the importance of the Institute in the affairs of governance in this nation. The Council has been faced with several hurdles, considering that the Institute is presently having some challenges, but as they come, we thank all the members of the Governing Council who have always been very supportive, like we heard from the Director General. They've always been available, and of course, they've put their wealth of experience to bear in the administration of the Institute. Well, let me join the DG to appreciate Mr. President for his immeasurable support to the Institute. This has gone a long way in placing the Institute in a good position to carry out its activities as it culminated in the lecture, the paper that was presented 2 days ago at the State House from members of SEC 44. And on this note, let me appreciate the management of the Institute, the Director General and his team. Obviously, from what we saw on Thursday, the taste of the pudding, they said, is in the eating. What we were served on Thursday was indeed very delicious. It showed that a lot is going on at the Institute, and which is what is expected. This goes to show that there is hope for better Nigeria, because with the quality of strategic decisions expected from participants of this course, we know that things can only get better. So once again, let me say thank you to the Director General, the directors, heads of departments, members of the directing staff, and all who have put all what we are saying together. Thank you. Well, let me assure you that on behalf of the Board of Directors, we'll continue to give you all the support you require, and we'll use our influence to gather more support from outside. At this juncture, let me quickly recognize the support by the colleagues of the interim chairman of the Governing Council, the service chiefs, for all the support they've given to the Institute. I learned the DG placed this on record yesterday. The services have been very supportive to the activities of the Institute, even in infrastructural development. So we want to appreciate you. Well, I don't want to repeat what the DG has said, but let me still specifically appreciate the Plateau State government. We are aware of the good job you are doing to keep the Institute going. We will always count on you, sir. I don't want to say we are Oliver Twist, but we are here with you, and we'll still be hoping for more support. Well, to the graduates, let me first congratulate you. It's been 10 months of hard work. Like I said earlier, from what you presented on Thursday, the government and the people of this great country are looking up to you to make your own difference. They said, to whom much is given, much is expected. The Institute has carried out its functions. The government has, through the Institute, given much to you. It is expected that as you go out in your various establishments, we are expecting to see impact from the level of strategic decisions that you will be taking to make sure your individual establishments improve on their outputs to the betterment of this great nation. Once again, congratulations. Wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And to the family members, thank you for all the support you have given. We expect that as you have your spouses, your parents back, that you still continue to give them the support to put to use what they have learned at the Institute. In conclusion, I want to still thank the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the immense support to the Institute. We promise you, on behalf of the Board of Directors, that we'll continue to strive harder to improve the activities of the Institute for better outputs. And also, I say thank you for every of our distinguished guests that have found time to be with us today. We really appreciate your presence, all our royal fathers.
By the Monitor General of Senior Executive Course 44, the first female Monitor General of Senior Executive Course 44, in the person of AIG Aishatu Abubakar Baju. But while she's coming forward to deliver her valedictory address, permit me to recognize His Royal Highness, Dr. Mohammed Abali, Emir of Fika. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Honorable Minister of Transport, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Bako Lalong, also ably represented by the Deputy Governor, representative of the service chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, our respected royal fathers here this morning, the Director General of the National Institute and the board members of the Institute, the President of ANI, my boss and mentor, and his ESCO, and all the distinguished members of the National Institute, other respected, distinguished guests here this morning, my colleagues, fellow participants of the Senior Executive Course 44 2022, I'm sorry, the management, or the members of management of the National Institute, those that have actually trained us, I'm truly sorry, and all the directing staff and senior fellows, our dear family members and well-wishers, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Assistant Inspector General of Police Aishatu Abubakar Baju, the Monitor General of Senior Executive Course 44, 2022. It is with great pleasure and deep sense of professional fulfillment that I stand here to deliver this valedictory speech on behalf of my colleagues of the Senior Executive Course 44, 2022. We are eternally grateful to Allah that the 10-month-long Senior Executive Course has finally come to this befitting end, culminating into our graduation this morning. Our sincere appreciation goes to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for approving our nomination to participate in this revered course. We are also grateful to the Vice President, His Excellency Professor Yemi Oshibajo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, GCON, for the leadership and support he has been providing to the National Institute. I have titled this valedictory speech, "For the Love of God and Country," simply because it can only be God and our beloved country, Nigeria, that are giving us the rare opportunity to be here today and be conferred with the most prestigious and envious title of Member of the National Institute, MNI. As a result, we are indeed very grateful. Our numerous and varied experiences at the National Institute has impacted on us skills and knowledge that will enable us contribute to building a better society. This could not have been possible without the leadership of our indefatigable Director General, Professor Ayo Omotayo, the Director of Studies, and other members of the management team, our dedicated directing staff, senior fellows, and other support staff who selflessly sacrificed to ensure our stay here was memorable, and for this we say a big thank you. That we are all turned out today receiving this prestigious honor is as a result of your dedication, hard work, and insistence on excellence. I'm confident that we are all now better prepared to take on greater challenges in nation building. We are also thankful to our families for their individual support, invaluable support. The long period of the course presented us with a lot of challenges, but it was comforting and reassuring to know that our families were behind the scenes, supporting us all through this period. We will not have been able to complete this course today without you, and for this, we remain profoundly grateful. I remember with great delight a participant who wanted to withdraw 3 weeks into the course. It was his wife who asked him how he would tell their children that Mr. President nominated him for a course and he absconded. As a result, he was forced to remain here and put in his best to not make only his family proud, but indeed the entire country. Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, permit me to recall some of the high points in our 10-month sojourn at the National Institute. We came to Kuru as individuals from diverse backgrounds, but today we are living as one happy family called SEC 44. This is surely our greatest achievement. Indeed, a new family has been created. Our SEC is unique in several respects, and in this regard, it is key to know that for the first time in the 44 years history of the National Institute, SEC 44 is the first course to elect a female Monitor General, an honor that was bestowed upon me, and for which I will remain eternally thankful. Also, for the first time, both the MG and DMG are females, with 2 other females in the SEC ESCO, accounting for more than 35% affirmative action for women participation in leadership positions. We appreciate our visionary and avant-garde male colleagues for their belief in us, and I'm sure we have made you all proud. We enjoin Nigerian political leaders to take a cue from the men of Sec 44, 2022, in ensuring gender inclusiveness in all levels of governance. Sec 44, in its own unique style, also embarked upon and completed a legacy project. A project of this scale and magnitude has never been done in the Institute's history. The projects will not only impact on the NIPS community, but also its environs. Sec 44 constructed and delivered a well-furnished and well-equipped multi-million naira nursery and primary school for the use of children of NIPS staff as well as other surrounding communities. The SEC intends to continue expanding the school even after graduating, and we shall also form part of the board of trustees of the school. Study groups have also was the organization of a 5-kilometer walk towards strengthening local governance in Nigeria, which terminated in the new government house just. This was aimed at sensitizing the community on the importance of a strengthened local governance, which is the theme of our course. We are grateful to the Executive Governor of Plateau State for being part of this great event. Similarly, the Senior Executive Course was able to develop a digital platform for the participants for ease of learning. This is also to be handed over to the Directorate of Studies to serve as a digital platform for virtual learning environment to be deployed for the SEC 45. This was achieved through the effort of our digital engineer, Ifeanyi Ngama. Similarly, our medical outreach to Kuru community was of great value to our immediate hosts. We were able to conduct massive deworming, treatment of minor ailments, sanitary hygiene, and health education, amongst others, to locals. It also gave us the opportunity to interact and socialize with the members of the Kuru community. We wish to sincerely thank the Director General of the Institute, who graciously supported the program by distributing sanitary pads to female students from his own pet project, Period of Poverty. Consequently, SEC 44 participants would like to respectfully advise the management of NIPS to have a clear framework for legacy projects and their maintenance after graduation. Senior Executive Course participants who have committed a lot of money to legacy projects should have a way of owning and maintaining their projects, just as we are going to do. As we heard earlier, 90 of us started this journey in February 2022, but unfortunately, we lost one of us to the cold hands of death. Distinguished guests, this was why we earlier observed a minute silence for the late Dr. Deborah Azoka. May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace. In her memory, the Library and Creativity Center of the Nursery and Primary School, donated by Senior Executive Course 44, has been named Late Dr. Deborah Azoka Memorial Library and Creativity Center to immortalize her. The friendship we have built here cannot be overemphasized, and it is hoped that it will indeed last a lifetime, because we have experienced the 5 stages of group dynamics. We formed, stormed with maturity, and most importantly, normed and bonded very well. Now, we fully recognize and value each other. As we experience the last phase, which is adjourning or mourning phase, we will part those sad, but with the full understanding that our diversity is the strength in our weaknesses. In the same way that we have supported each other to succeed through the months in NIPS, and sincerely hope we will continue to provide support and encouragement for each other in our future endeavors. On a personal note, permit me to say that I have been inspired by my Senior Executive Course 44 colleagues who have overcome so much adversity to be graduating today. We have all been tenacious, resilient in the face of so many challenges as we are as arduous task and responsibility. even difficulties and disagreements. Yet, here we are today, triumphant. I want to urge us all to walk out of this gate as a unified senior executive course 44 without any form of segregation. I will miss the midnight calls when there are little challenges in your participant suits that needs to be addressed. I will also miss the calls telling me to advise management to keep our weekends free. During our sojourn at NIPS, there have been several pillars of support to the participant of SEC 44, and this speech will not be complete without mentioning them in person. The Secretary Director of Administration, Brigadier General C.F.J. Udaya, MNI. He is not just an SDA, but a father figure, ever protecting the participants. Our amiable Amazon, the Director of Studies, DOS, has shown us in clear terms that what a man can do, a woman can do even better. She has been the strong support system for SEC 44, and we all call her headmistress. The most dreaded punishment for us in SEC 44 is an interview with DOS that is announced at plenary. She has demonstrated that academic excellence and discipline can take place with motherly love and compassion. Professor Fumi Paramalam, MNI. She told me, don't ever be apologetic about who you are. We are also inspired by the Director of Research, Professor Doom Pansha, and the Institute Librarian, Dr. Emmanuel Mamman, MNI, for their consistent, high-quality intellectual input. To our directing staff, who helped to unbundle most of those difficult lectures in study group rooms, we can't thank you enough. All the other support staff who help us with NIPS survival skills, thank you. In conclusion, I would like to thank the leadership of the Alumni Association of the National Institute for the motivation and the induction of SEC 44, which they are going to do into this prestigious alumni. Mr. President, sir, my boss and my mentor, I can assure you that SEC 44 is ready to join Annie to contribute our quota towards a better society. God bless you all. Once again, congratulations and best wishes to Senior Executive Course 44 participants.
Can we please appreciate the Monitor General with another round of applause? Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me once more to quickly make some introductions before I proceed to the next item. I would like to recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Jos in the person of Professor Tanko Ishaya. You are welcome, sir. We also have in our midst Christopher Nwange, representative of Controller General Immigration Service. You are welcome, sir. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Raphael Ibinu, Controller of Corrections in charge of Plateau State Command. You are welcome. Welcome, sir. Also in the house is Senator Hezekiah Ayuba Dimka. You are welcome. Distinguished Senator, sir, you are welcome. Well, I also want to recognize the presence of Saminu Gaidam, Hamza El Mustafa, and Dr. Zachary Lawal, MNI. You are all welcome. In the words of the author of Forbes magazine, and I quote, that no amount of money or power can bring happiness if it is not accompanied by an abundance of goodwill. It is time for goodwill messages, and it is my singular honor and privilege to invite His Eminence, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, CFR, for his goodwill message. His Eminence, sir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على النبي الكريم. Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Minister of Transport, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Plateau State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, other distinguished personalities on the high table, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, traditional rulers here present, all other distinguished people that are too numerous to mention, but that I have high regards for. I greet you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm greatly delighted to be at this graduation ceremony of Senior Executive Course 44 of the National Institute and to witness the induction of 89 eminent Nigerians into the Alumni Association of the Institute. I appreciate the honor to witness 2022 graduation ceremony of this esteemed National Institute, which has over the years distinguished itself as an oasis of exceptional scholarship, intellectual erudition, and breeding ground for generation of Nigerian leaders, modern technocrats, and world-class policy makers. This is indeed a great accomplishment, considering that only about 2,000 Nigerians belong to this illustrious group of change agents and transformative leaders whom the nation depends on to conceptualize and anchor the implementation of innovative and dynamic policy initiatives and strategies critical for national development. I therefore want to commend all the participants for this important accomplishment, which is coming after 10 months of rigorous study, tireless brainstorming exercise, individual and group research activities, as well as various study tours to find answers to one of the issues that contend us as a nation. I also want to commend the Board of Governors, the management, the faculty, and all members of staff of the National Institute who have contributed in one way or another to make today's event a reality. Since 1979, when the National Institute was established, it has produced top-level policy and strategy experts whose contributions to various aspects of our national life cannot be quantified. It is, of course, obvious that apart from the contributions in the area of human capital development for the Nigerian nation, the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies has also made vital contributions in the policy arena through policy recommendations to the government, which have helped to shape the nation's development agenda. However, be vital in the light of our recent challenges as a nation. Nigeria is currently contending with various socio-economic and political, from terrorism, banditry, to the challenge of nation building as brokers of policy knowledge, centers of research, and incubators of new ideas to feed policymakers with evidence-based policy options that will transport the nation into the realm of peace, prosperity, and progress. At this juncture, I wish to task the lecturers and course participants of this great institute to always strive for excellence as the world has moved on and is still moving. Governance system in the world today is largely driven by cutting-edge innovations in the digital industry, which saves time and harps on precision and efficiency. Nigeria needs to tap into this development, and who is better placed to lead in this direction than the National Institute? In the same vein, I want to state that it is high time and indeed long overdue for this institute, in collaboration with the Nigerian Institute for International Affairs, to draw up a standard foreign policy for Nigeria. Since independence, the country has tried many foreign policy thrusts, from non-alignment to shuttle diplomacy. At one time, it was Africa at the centerpiece, and several others. We can therefore see the need for a consistent and befitting foreign policy thrust for a country that is unarguably the giant of Africa. I trust the National Institute will act on this very important suggestion. I cannot end this address without paying tribute to the founding fathers of the National Institute for the foresight which led to the establishment of the Institute. I wish also to commend the present administration for the unprecedented support for the Institute in its drive towards a better society. On this note, let me once more congratulate the participants of Senior Executive Course 44 for this great accomplishment, which we are all here to celebrate today. Let me also charge each and every participant to use the knowledge they have gained during the period of their sojourn in the National Institute to contribute more significantly to our national development. Allah ya kare mutuncinmu da addininmu. Allah ya ba mu lafiya da zaman lafiya. Wannan damina da ta gabata abinda muka shuka Allah ya zama rabonmu ne. Malamanmu da iyayenmu da shugabanninmu da suka koma ga Ubangiji, Allah ya jaddada musu rahama. Allah ya ci gaba da ba mu albarkacinsu. Idan wa'adin mu yayi, Allah ya sa mu cika da imani. Assalamu alaikum.
Lafiya alharmu. Lafiya.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, can we please give His Royal Highness the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, retired, ably represented by the Special Assistant Technical to the Honorable Minister of Defense. He is one of our own and is in the person of Major General A.T. Jubril, retired MNI. Please give him a round of applause.
State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Adid, for successfully going through this very challenging but very exciting package, which I had the privilege of going through 14 years ago. The Honorable Minister asked me to also commend the efforts of the Board of Governors of this very important institution for providing the wherewithal for the institution to continue to produce high-level strategic managers for the country. He also asked me to commend the management of the institution for providing the enabling environment for scholarship and friendship. He also asked me to commend the directing staff who actually nurture and tutor the participant through this very difficult arrangement, which requires total devotion and also commitment, because if you are on the senior executive course from the first day, you will think you are for a jamboree, because see everybody coming in different ways with different vehicles, checking into their accommodation happily. But from the first day you will receive lecture, you will know that you are not here for showbiz. You are here for serious academic work, which you will do through thorough research and also making input through the outside-the-box thinking. If you are going to rely on theories and what you read in textbooks, you will not successfully pass this course. So I congratulate SEC 44 once again for their diligence and for their ability to be able to go through this course successfully. I would like to also in particular congratulate AIG Aishatu Abubakar for really doing her best to be able to manage this all important group comprising men and women of integrity and knowledge through the 10 months period. I know it's a Herculean task even for men. In our own course, Sec 30, we managed to have a female monitor general, and she's the only one in the management team. So that's what makes your course very, very unique. I will not sit down until I recognize my brother and friend, Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, who is a politician now, presidential candidate of Action Congress, and my mentor, Ahmed Muazu, former executive governor of Bauchi State. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Can we please appreciate the representative of the Minister of Defense once again? Thank you, sir. The last but not the least to give his goodwill message is the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Right Honorable Simon Bako Lalong, ably represented by the Deputy Governor of Plateau State, Professor Sonny Tioden. Please give him a round of applause.
the special guest of honor, the Director General of NIBS, service chiefs here present, the Deputy Governor of Kebbi State, Your Excellencies, former governors, former members of the National Assembly, the Royal Father of the Day, His Eminence Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, members of the Plateau State Executive Council, members of the State Security Council, His Highness the Emir of Fika, management and directing staff of NIBS, senior fellows and fellows of NIBS, members of the Senior Executive Course 44 and supporting staff, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by bringing you greetings from His Excellency and the government of Plateau State. The governor apologizes for his inability to be here in person due to other engagements, but he sends his goodwill and best wishes, particularly to the graduating participants. Having said that, I want to congratulate members of the Senior Executive Course 44 for having worked till the end and seen to the successful conclusion of their courses. As you move out of NIBS and as you flaunt your M&I badges, I want to ask that you should walk with a swagger because you deserve it. Having been here, I know what it means to go through these 10 months of study. You have now been adequately equipped intellectually to address and confront the problems confronting Nigeria and our society. The motto of NIBS says, "Towards a better society." I believe you are now better equipped to handle and make Nigeria a better place. The intellectual attributes you have been endowed with is not just for you to flaunt about, but for you to see to the proper implementation as we move Nigeria towards the next level. The topic you have chosen, which deals with the local government level, I think, as somebody did point out yesterday, has thrown the local government to the front of our speculations and concerns about good governance in Nigeria. So you have contributed your own quota, and we congratulate you on that. I want to also congratulate the management of NIBS for successfully nurturing this crop of leaders for the benefit of Nigeria. The DG did mention the synergy that exists between NIBS and the Plateau State government and Plateau State people. I want to say that this synergy and the benefits are mutual. Plateau State definitely knows it is a source of pride for us. We are proud that every year we play host to a galaxy of the leadership elite in Nigeria. We shall continue to contribute our quota. We shall continue to partner with the management to see that we play our role in giving you a suitable, enabling environment for your studies. As you go back to your respective families, but do not forget the lessons you have learned, both within the class and outside the class. Thank you, and God bless.
Can we please appreciate His Excellency